Let's be honest about the last time you were truly alone. I don't mean alone in a room while scrolling through your phone. I don't mean driving a car with a podcast playing. I mean that moment when the battery dies, when the Wi-Fi cuts out, when the distraction fails. What happens in that first 3 seconds? There is a panic, isn't there? It is a physical itch. Your hand moves automatically to find a screen, a button, a noise. You need to fill the gap. You feel a tightening in the chest. A sudden boredom that feels almost like danger. We tell ourselves, I'm just bored. I'm just high energy. I need to be productive. But if you look closely at that sensation, it isn't boredom. It is fear. We treat silence like it's an empty room that we are afraid to walk into. But the truth is much stranger. We aren't afraid that the room is empty. We are afraid because we know the room is actually full, and we are terrified of what is waiting for us inside. Here is the mistake we make. We think silence is a lack of something. We think silence is a void. But silence is not a void. Silence is a mirror. Think about how you eat. If you eat food constantly, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, midnight snack, your body never gets a break to digest. You become bloated. You become sick. The system backs up. Your mind works the same way. From the moment you wake up, you are consuming. You consume texts, emails, news, music, work problems, other people's opinions. You are shoving data into your brain every single second. But you never stop to digest it. Silence is the digestive system of the mind. The reason silence feels uncomfortable, the reason it hurts, is not because it's quiet. It hurts because you are suffering from mental indigestion. When the noise stops, the digestion turns on. And because you have been consuming for years without a break, the backlog is massive. That itch you feel, that isn't boredom. That is the pressure of 1,000 unprocessed emotions, half-finished thoughts, and suppressed anxieties trying to surface all at once. You aren't running from the silence. You are running from the backlog. You are playing music and scrolling feeds to keep the backlog pushed down, because dealing with it feels too heavy. In the yogic tradition, this constant churning of input is called Vritti. It is the whirlpool. We have a cultural misunderstanding of what a yogi is. We think a yogi is someone who can make their mind go blank. We think they have achieved some kind of magical emptiness. Thesis fouls. A clear mind is not an empty mind. A clear mind is a settled mind. Imagine a glass of water scooped up from a river bottom. It is brown, thick, and swirling with mud. This is your mind right now. If you keep stirring it with TikTok, with news, with busy work, it stays opaque. You cannot see through it. You don't know what is in the water. Now, imagine placing that glass on a table and taking your hand away. This is the act of silence. What happens? At first, nothing. The mud is still swirling. It looks exactly the same. This is the moment you want to pick it back up and shake it, because watching the mud swirl is irritating. It feels useless. But if you leave it, if you just watch it, gravity takes over. The heavy sediment begins to sink. The lighter dust begins to float. And in the middle, the water becomes clear. The discomfort you feel is the settling process. Most of us never let the mud settle. We feel the agitation of the settling. We hate the feeling of the heavy thoughts sinking. So we pick up the spoon and stir the water up again just to feel normal. We prefer the chaos we know to the clarity we don't. The yogic drive is not the drive to fix the water. You cannot fix the mud. The yogic drive is the courage to keep your hands off the glass long enough for gravity to do its work. Let's look at how this plays out in your actual life. Tonight, it's 11:30 p.m. You are exhausted. Your body is heavy. You turn off the lights. You lie down. It should be the best moment of the day. But the moment your head hits the pillow, the assault begins. First, it's the immediate replay of the day. A stupid thing you said in a meeting. The tone of voice your partner used. Then, it jumps. Suddenly, you are thinking about money. You are doing math in the dark. Then, a memory from 5 years ago. A regret. A sharp cringe. You toss. You turn. The silence of the bedroom feels oppressive. It feels like the air is too thick. So what do? You reach for the phone. You put on a video. You put on a podcast. You search for rain sounds or white noise. You need a bedtime story to distract you from your own life. You are medicating the silence. You are refusing to let the glass settle. But imagine, just for tonight, you didn't reach for the phone. Imagine you lay there and felt the heat in your chest. You watched the embarrassing memory float by. You didn't push it away, but you didn't engage with it either. You just saw it. There is anxiety. There is regret. There is the backlog. It feels like burning. It feels like itching. It feels like you need to move. But this is the work. The discomfort is simply your addiction to distraction, leaving the body. It is withdrawal. You are sitting in the fire of your own unprocessed life, and the only way out is through. The goal is not to enjoy the silence. That is a fantasy sold by wellness commercials. The goal is to stop fearing it. When you stop fighting the discomfort, something shifts. You realize that the silence is honest. It is the only thing in your life that is untrying to sell you something or convince you of something. The mud begins to settle at the bottom of the glass. The water becomes clear. Now, be warned. When the water clears, you see what is actually there. You might see your loneliness. You might see your ambition is hollow. You might see that you are unhappy in your relationship. This is why we hate silence, because it reveals the truth, and the truth usually requires us to change. But the clarity is worth the discomfort, because only in clear water you can see the bottom. Only in silence you can see the path. So, the next time the battery dies, the next time the traffic stops and the radio cuts out, the next time you are lying in the dark and the itch arises, don't scratch it. Don't fix it. Let the silence become heavy. Let it feel awkward. Let the monsters in the basement come up the stairs, seat with them. Look at them. They are only noisy because you have been locking them out for so long. See if you can endure the next 10 seconds without looking away.